Welcome. You're watching CNN Newsroom. I'm Lynda Kinkade. Returning now to our breaking news. A manhunt is underway after 5 people were shot and wounded near a busy interstate in Kentucky. It happened Saturday afternoon near Interstate 75 in Laurel County, just north of London, Kentucky. The London Police Department released a photo of who they call a person of interest in that shooting, a 32-year-old white man named Joseph A. Couch. He's about 5'10" and weighing approximately 154 pounds. Police say he is considered armed and dangerous. Police have closed a section of the interstate due to that active shooter situation, urging residents in the area to stay indoors with their doors locked. The interstate has now reopened in both directions. The Laurel County Sheriff's Department said all 5 victims are in a stable condition. Julia Kayam is a CNN senior national security analyst and former Assistant Secretary of the Department of Homeland Defense and joins us now live. Thanks so much for your time tonight, Juliet. Of course, we know mass shootings are very common here in the U.S. This one happened on an interstate. How unusual is that, and what could that tell you about a possible motive?
So it has happened before, but it is unusual. Most of the time when we see mass shootings or active shooters, there's either a theater, there's a large accessible crowd, a school, a theater, a bar, because the person presumably wants to have a mass casualty event. This kind of behavior, essentially going after cars, is intended for 2 things. One is, of course, to go after a particular target, individuals, drivers, or passengers, but also to, in some ways, witness the response, which is cars out of control, cars trying to dodge the noise. We have testimonials about people hearing noises and wanting to get out of the way. And so there's a certain, I would say, performative aspect to it. Because it happened in the daytime, I think that explains how they know who it is. There were clearly enough eyewitnesses to at least narrow down the search. So now it's just a matter of finding where specifically he is.
Yeah, it was interesting to note, Juliet, how quickly police identified this man as a key suspect in this mass shooting. What does that tell you, and how will that help the manhunt?
Yeah. So, I mean, one of the differences, even in just the last 10 years, is anyone nearby is now is not just an eyewitness, but is like a journalist. And so presumably what happened is people are taking pictures or taking videos. They know what's happening. They can narrow down the car. There's even in these interstates, in more rural states, there's all sorts of radar, all sorts of visuals, so that once they put the pieces together, there's highway cameras, there's individual cameras. Then they can figure out where in fact were the shots coming from. They can tell that by the noise, and then figure out who owns the car. The car identification likely led to the perpetrator's identification, and he's likely on the run, knowing that he's now been caught. His motive may be exceptionally perverse. He just wanted to have an event that would not only harm people, but would harm others who were not shot at, because of the nature of what a car accident or a car swerving would entail.
And we do know in this case, 5 people were injured in the shooting. We don't have details on the injuries. We know that at least two are still in hospital. But in terms of the manhunt, what sort of resources would be deployed come first light?
So right now, exactly, first light is the key part here. It's going to be very hard to do in a lot of these rural areas without the light. But once a couple things are happening. One is, of course, family and friends, and sort of figuring what is his typical behavior. Does he go fishing in a certain place? Does he go hunting in a certain place? The second is he presumably he has a cell phone and other ways to monitor where he might be. Credit cards, bank ATM cards. He's going to get hungry. He's going to get thirsty at some stage, especially if he was not intending an exit. And then you'd want to have aerial surveillance. So the second the light comes out, there'll be helicopters, drones, and others trying to identify other aerial views, trying to get large swaths of visuals over over this area. So these things are scary in real time. I'm pretty confident, just given how fast it's gone, that unless he was very prepared for an exit and a long stay away, he will eventually do something, buy water, buy food, need gas, that will expose him.
Yeah, exactly. So what is your advice, Juliet, to anyone who may have come across this suspect?
I mean, in no uncertain terms, stay away, call police, lock the doors, do not engage, and there's no reason to that. At least right now, he is on the run, he's on defense, and people should not make themselves part of a story they don't need to be a part of, and that's really key at this stage.
Yeah, exactly.
Enough harm has been done.
Yeah. Stay safe. Call 911. Juliet Kinkade, appreciate your time as always. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, earlier my colleague Jessica Dean spoke with Christina Denoto, who says her car was shot at while she was driving on that interstate.
Joining us now is Christina Denoto, who is an eyewitness to this shooting, and she tells us she was shot at while she was on I-75. Christina, thank you so much for joining us. I know this is still really fresh for you. You and a friend, right, were on a trip driving from Tennessee to New York. Is that right?
Yeah, my friend Jeremy and I were actually driving from New York to Tennessee. So we were on I-75 in Kentucky, around the London area. And while we were driving, all of a sudden we just heard this deafening loud sound, and it sounded like a rock went through my back window, and our ears were ringing, and we just looked at each other and we were like, was that a gunshot? And then we were like, that can't be a gunshot, because we're driving down the highway. And there was a white truck that was next to us in the right-hand lane, and all of a sudden he slowed down and he pulled off to the shoulder, and we thought maybe it was his tire had blown out or something, but it was much louder than a tire blowing out. And it was just so loud and so scary, it's something very unexpected while you're just driving. So that was what had happened. And then a few minutes later, we just saw dozens of police vehicles going in the opposite direction. I believe it's northbound on I-75. Mm-hmm. And we were like, what is going on here? And we saw tons of tire shreds on the side of the highway, and just all these things were happening that didn't really add up. And about an hour later, we got a call from Jeremy's dad, and he said he was watching CNN and that there was an active shooter on I-75. And we were just beside ourselves, like, oh my God, did we just drive through a shooting? So we made it to Knoxville and got out and checked my car. And on the rim of I have a Toyota 4Runner, and on the rim, there's a huge indent. It looks like a bullet divot. And then all the paint is chipped off of the back panel of my 4Runner.
That is so scary, and it must have been so confusing, because it sounds like you were trying to put the pieces together, but it's such a rare thing to happen, a shooting on an active interstate. Did you have any idea where that gunshot came from? Was it coming from a car? Do you have any idea?
No, if I had to guess, I would say off to the side of the road, because it hit my tires, which are pretty low to the ground. So I don't imagine it came from a vehicle, but I don't know for certain.
Yeah, it's hard to say. When you're moving probably so quickly, were you going like the normal rate of speed? Like you were going the normal speed limit, right?
Correct, yes.
Yeah. And then what about, I know you mentioned the car that pulled off to the side. Did you see anybody else around you being affected, or was it kind of happening so fast?
It happened very fast, but I just happened to notice the truck that was next to us because we were kind of neck and neck at the time. And then I just noticed him slowing down and pulling off. And it was, normally don't see people just pull off to the side of the road, especially with the loud noise that we believe to be a gunshot at the same time. It was very confusing, and it all happened very fast, if that makes sense.
No, of course it does. I think in those moments, it's like really hard to put into context what's happening, and it's loud. What did the sound like?
It sounded like a rock smashed through the back window, and my ear was ringing, my right ear, and it happened on the passenger side of my vehicle, and I was in the driver's side. So it was just a very loud, And I know what a tire blowout sounds like, and it didn't sound like that. It was much louder. And we both looked at each other and said, was that a gunshot? But we, we're driving, and it seemed like impossible that would be a gunshot.